Have you ever pondered which zodiac sign possesses the most surprisingly stubborn depths? You might think of fiery Aries or intense Scorpio. Yet, often it's Taurus, the seemingly placid and reliable anchor of the zodiac, who harbors an unshakable force, a complex resilience that can sometimes feel like an impenetrable wall. This is a sign that embodies stability and sensual pleasure, but can also dig in its heels, refusing to budge, leaving you feeling utterly powerless against its quiet determination. Today, we'll explore 9 compelling reasons why Taurus can be one of the most complex and, in its own way, challenging signs of the zodiac. Stick around, because one of these reasons gets to the very core of the Taurian enigma, and overlooking it might mean missing a crucial insight into the Taurus soul. Before diving into the reasons, let's take a moment to understand the essence of Taurus. This sign, ruled by Venus, is often seen as the embodiment of stability, patience, loyalty, and a love for life's comforts. Taurus individuals are known for their practical nature, reliability, refined taste, and deep appreciation for sensory experiences. They are the builders and stabilizers of the zodiac, often seeking security and comfort above all else. However, beneath this calm and steady surface lies an earthly foundation, fertile and nurturing at times, but also capable of becoming unyielding, stubborn, and resistant to any form of disruption. If you've ever connected with this sign, you know their stability can also conceal a formidable obstinacy. Taurus is often characterized as the most dependable sign, capable of providing a sense of security to those around them. But this very attachment to stability can lead to significant challenges, particularly when faced with change or when their sense of security feels threatened. So let's delve into the 9 reasons that illustrate why Taurus is not just reliable, but also incredibly complex and at times uniquely challenging. Reason 1. The immovable object stubbornness perfected. The first reason Taurus can be challenging is their sheer persistence, bordering on stubbornness. At first glance, this appears as steadfastness, an admirable quality. But what many don't realize is that this resolve can solidify into absolute resistance, an impenetrable wall. Once a Taurus has made up their mind, changing it can feel nearly impossible, regardless of logic or emotional appeals. They aren't trying to be difficult. They simply cling fiercely to what they believe is right or safe, and change represents the instability they inherently dislike. When their position is challenged, they don't often engage in loud arguments. Instead, they become quiet and still, like an unshakable boulder. This silence isn't contemplation or agreement. It's a manifestation of their refusal to yield. This stubbornness can create invisible barriers in relationships and hinder personal growth. I once tried to convince a Taurus friend to try a new path, one that seemed objectively better for them. But every effort felt like pushing against solid rock. They didn't argue much, just didn't move. That feeling of helplessness when facing such unwavering inertia is truly unforgettable. Have you ever felt like you were up against an invisible wall, a passive but incredibly powerful resistance? That's the hidden force within Taurus's stability. This stubbornness also manifests in how they hold on to what's theirs. They can fiercely protect their opinions, possessions, or even routines, sometimes to an irrational degree. It's crucial for those around a Taurus to understand that this resistance often stems from a deep need for security and stability rather than a desire for conflict. Reason 2. The simmering rage. Patience worn thin next. Let's talk about Taurus's incredible patience and what happens when it runs out. They can endure a great deal, overlooking minor annoyances with commendable calm. However, this endurance isn't infinite. Beneath the tranquil exterior, a slow fire can build, accumulating frustrations and hurts over time. They aren't quick to anger, but when their final limit is crossed, the Taurian temper can erupt like a volcano, fierce, formidable, and shocking to those who only knew their gentle side. A Taurus's anger isn't a fleeting outburst. It's often the result of prolonged pressure or repeated boundary violations. When they do get angry, it's usually because something truly important has been disregarded multiple times. This rage can be terrifying because it comes from a deep place and is often accompanied by unyielding finality. They might speak blunt truths, cut ties decisively, or make unwavering decisions. I once witnessed a normally placid, patient Taurus suddenly snap after months of quiet endurance. The abrupt shift from calm to intense anger was genuinely shocking. It served as a stark reminder that even the most patient souls have their limits. Have you ever seen that calm facade crack to reveal the raw power beneath? That's when you realize their silence isn't always agreement. This simmering rage can also manifest as long-held grudges. Taurus finds it hard to forget and forgive when they feel betrayed or treated unfairly. They can carry resentment for years, subtly affecting their relationships. Respecting their boundaries and avoiding pushing them past their breaking point is essential. Reason 3. The chains of devotion. When loyalty becomes possession, loyalty is one of Taurus's most defining virtues. They are dependable friends, partners, and colleagues, always there when you need them. However, this deep-seated loyalty can sometimes morph into possessiveness. They tend to view the people and things they love as theirs, and the thought of loss can make them controlling or jealous. This possessiveness doesn't necessarily stem from malice, but from a profound fear of insecurity and loss. They invest heavily in their relationships and belongings, and protecting them becomes a top priority. This can lead them to inadvertently limit others' freedom or become overly sensitive to any perceived sign of distance or disloyalty. Have you ever felt someone's care gradually become heavier, like a subtle form of ownership? That can be the shadow side of Taurian loyalty. Their love and protection are warming, but sometimes they create a sense of being held too tightly. When does devotion stop being a gift and start feeling like an invisible fence? If you're a Taurus, remember that true trust sometimes requires giving others space to breathe. In relationships, this possessiveness can lead to jealousy or intense reactions when they feel threatened. They need absolute security and can struggle with uncertainty. It's important for those who love a Taurus to provide reassurance and security, while also gently maintaining their own personal space. Reason 4. The gilded cage, trapped by comfort. Taurus loves comfort, security, and the familiar. They work hard to build a stable life and enjoy the fruits of their labor. However, this intense love for comfort can become a trap, a gilded cage. They can become so attached to their comfort zone that they resist any change, even if that change promises growth or greater happiness. The fear of losing stability can keep them stuck in situations that no longer serve them. A boring job, an unhappy relationship, or unhealthy routines. They might prefer enduring stagnation over facing the uncertainty of something new. Comfort becomes the ultimate priority, sometimes overriding potential for personal evolution. I knew a talented Taurus who wouldn't leave a stable but unfulfilling job simply because they feared the instability of starting over. It was heartbreaking to see them seemingly trapped by their own need for security. Is comfort always worth the price of unfulfilled potential? Sometimes the greatest rewards lie just outside the familiar. This attachment to comfort can also lead to complacency or laziness. Once they've achieved a desired level of security, they might lose the drive to push further. It's important for Taurus to recognize when comfort is becoming a barrier and to find a balance between enjoying the present and embracing necessary challenges for growth. Reason 5. The fortress of reality, practicality as a shield. Practicality is the bedrock of Taurus. They view the world through a tangible lens, focusing on what can be seen, touched, and measured. This grounds them, helps them make sound decisions, and build solid foundations. However, this intense focus on the practical can sometimes become a fortress, shielding them from connecting with more abstract aspects of life, like deep emotions, intuition, or spirituality. They can become skeptical or dismissive of things they can't understand through logic or the senses. This might make it difficult for them to empathize with complex emotions in others or to heed the subtle messages of their own intuition. Practicality becomes a shield against ambiguity, but it can also make them seem insensitive or narrow-minded. Have you ever tried sharing a dream, a deep feeling, or a flight of fancy with a Taurus, only to receive a purely practical, perhaps even dismissive response? That feeling of being grounded or shot down by absolute pragmatism can be jarring. Sometimes, the most important things can't be weighed or measured. This focus on the material and tangible can also lead to them being perceived as overly concerned with money or possessions. While they do value financial security, this focus can sometimes overshadow other values. It's beneficial for Taurus to learn to open up to the intangible aspects of life and recognize that not everything yields to logic. Reason 6. The sinking anchor. When stability stifles, the need for stability is core to Taurus. They are like an anchor, keeping the ship of life steady through storms. However, sometimes this anchor becomes too heavy, holding the ship firmly in place and preventing it from sailing to new waters. The need for stability can morph into a paralyzing fear of change, hindering adaptation and growth not only for themselves, but also for those around them. They might cling to the past, to outdated relationships or situations simply because they are familiar. They resist necessary endings and can inadvertently hold others back by insisting on keeping things as they are. Stability, once a strength, becomes stifling. I once saw a Taurus cling to a toxic friendship simply because they had known the person for so long and feared the void left by cutting ties. Witnessing them hold on to familiarity even when it was clearly causing harm was painful. Can too much stability actually sink the ship? Sometimes raising the anchor and setting sail is exactly what's needed. This fear of change also makes it difficult for Taurus to adapt to new circumstances or innovative ideas. They might be the last to embrace new technology or different ways of working. To grow, Taurus needs to learn to see change not as a threat, but as a natural and necessary part of life. Reason 7. The burden of reliability. The resentful pillar Taurus is often the pillar in their families, friend groups, or workplaces. Their reliability and sense of responsibility make people turn to them for support and help. They willingly shoulder responsibilities and often do so quietly and effectively. However, always being the dependable one can become a burden. If they feel their efforts go unnoticed or are taken for granted, Taurus can begin to harbor quiet resentment. They aren't likely to complain openly, but dissatisfaction will build internally. The weight of always having to be strong, always being the rock for others, can leave them feeling weary and unappreciated. We often lean on our steady Taurus friends, forgetting they have their own limits and needs. Have you ever noticed a quiet weariness or a flicker of frustration in the person you always considered your rock? Acknowledging and appreciating their contributions is incredibly important. This unspoken resentment can lead to passive-aggressive behavior or a gradual withdrawal of support. Taurus needs to learn to set healthy boundaries and ask for the recognition they deserve. Equally, those around them need to be more conscious of the load they might be placing on Taurus's shoulders. Reason 8. Blindness to the unseen. The limits of the tangible. Because of their practical nature and focus on the tangible, Taurus can struggle to grasp or value the unseen aspects of life. Intuition, spirituality, or subtle emotional currents. They trust what their senses tell them and can be skeptical, even dismissive, of anything beyond that realm. This blindness isn't intentional, but a natural limit of their materially focused worldview. It can cause them to miss deeper layers of meaning in situations, fail to pick up on subtle emotional cues from others, or struggle to connect with their own spiritual side. I remember a Taurus completely missing the subtext of a conversation because they focused solely on the literal words spoken. They didn't grasp the emotional atmosphere or what wasn't being said. Does focusing only on what you can touch make you miss what truly matters? This lack of attunement to the intangible can cause misunderstandings in relationships, especially with more sensitive individuals. They might be perceived as superficial or lacking emotional depth. Taurus can benefit from consciously trying to open themselves to experiences and perspectives beyond the familiar physical world. Reason 9. The siren call of pleasure, the danger of indulgence. Ruled by Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and pleasure, Taurus has an innate appreciation for the finer things in life. They love good food, physical comfort, art, and all forms of sensory enjoyment. This is a charming part of their nature. However, this love of pleasure can also become a weak point. If unchecked, the desire for enjoyment can lead to overindulgence, laziness, materialism, or even escaping responsibilities through seeking immediate gratification. They might struggle with delaying gratification or sacrificing present comfort for long-term goals. Pleasure becomes a hard-to-resist siren call. We all admire Taurus' taste and ability to enjoy life. But have you ever seen one prioritize a luxurious meal or a lazy afternoon over tackling an urgent issue? When does appreciating the good things cross the line into avoiding the necessary things? Overindulgence can affect their health through excessive eating/drinking, finances through uncontrolled spending, or relationships through laziness or lack of accountability. Taurus needs to find a healthy balance between enjoying life's pleasures and maintaining necessary discipline and responsibility. In conclusion, Taurus is a sign of surprising depth and complexity, hidden beneath a surface of stability and reliability. Their enduring strength, loyalty, and appreciation for life are wonderful qualities, but they come intertwined with challenges like unshakable stubbornness, simmering anger, possessive tendencies, and a deep resistance to change. If you resonate with this sign, remember that your stability is a gift, but don't let it become a cage that limits your growth. Learn to balance steadfastness with flexibility and enjoyment with responsibility. If you found this exploration insightful, please consider subscribing for more content that dives deep into the mysteries of the zodiac. Together we can uncover the hidden layers of our emotional journeys and embrace the complex beauty within ourselves. Thank you for joining me today, and remember, you are never alone on this path. As we wrap up this exploration of Taurus, I invite you to reflect on your own experiences with this sign. Have you encountered a Taurus in your life? What insights have you gained from your interactions with them? Whether you are a Taurus yourself or loved one, your journey is unique and valuable. Embrace the complexities of their nature and your own, and remember that true strength often lies in balance. In the end, the beauty of Taurus lies in their ability to build lasting foundations and savor the simple yet profound pleasures of life. They remind us of the importance of patience, loyalty, and finding joy in the physical world. Let us celebrate these qualities and learn to navigate the complexities within our own hearts and the hearts of those around us. To further illustrate the depth of Taurus, let's explore some common themes and traits associated with this sign. Understanding these can provide even more context for the complexities we've discussed. Taurus's strength isn't just physical, it's mental and emotional endurance. They possess incredible stamina, capable of shouldering heavy responsibilities and weathering adversity with quiet persistence. This strength often comes from their deep connection to the earth element, grounding them and providing resilience. However, this strength can also manifest as rigidity. They might endure negative situations for far too long instead of seeking change, believing endurance is the only solution. I've always admired the sheer staying power of Taurus. They can push through difficult times without faltering. But sometimes I wonder if that very endurance prevents them from seeking true happiness. If you're a Taurus, remember that strength isn't just about enduring. It's also about knowing when to pivot. In love and friendship, Taurus seeks security, stability, and absolute loyalty. They express affection not through flowery words, but through practical acts of care, thoughtful gifts, and reliable presence. They are devoted and steadfast partners, providing a solid sense of safety. However, this need for security can lead to the aforementioned control or jealousy. They can also struggle with verbalizing emotions, leaving partners feeling a lack of deep emotional connection. Their stubbornness can cause conflict when compromise is needed. I remember a relationship with a Taurus. The stability they offered was wonderful, but I sometimes felt stifled by the lack of flexibility and the difficulty in discussing feelings. If you love a Taurus, practice patience and open communication while appreciating their tangible ways of showing love. As an earth sign, Taurus has a powerful connection to nature and the physical world. They find peace and rejuvenation outdoors, gardening, or simply appreciating the beauty of their surroundings. They also possess a keen aesthetic sense and appreciate quality and craftsmanship in everything from food and clothing to home decor. This connection grounds them, but can also tether them primarily to the material realm, making them less attuned to spiritual or abstract dimensions. The way a Taurus can find joy in simple things, like a beautiful garden or a delicious meal, is admirable. They remind us of the importance of connecting with the world around us. If you're a Taurus, continue nurturing that connection, but don't be afraid to explore other depths within yourself, too. Reflecting on the intricate nature of Taurus, it's clear this sign embodies a unique blend of foundational strength and potential challenges. Their ability to build sustain, and enjoy life is invaluable, but it comes with the need to recognize and manage tendencies towards rigidity, possessiveness, and resistance to change. Let's appreciate the stability Taurus brings, while also encouraging ourselves to embrace flexibility and growth. The Taurian journey is one of seeking balance between security and exploration, the material and the intangible. Thank you for joining me in exploring the depths of the Taurus sign. May this offer deeper insight and understanding of these steadfast yet complex souls.